Chapter 70 at a record high of $4.04 billion in our budget proposal. Throughout this economic crisis, we have protected funding for public schools and will do it this year entirely with general funds, no one-time revenues. Communities that would have seen their aid reduced in the coming year under the formula would instead be level funded. So let me be clear about that. Under our proposal, no school district will receive less next year than you received this year, no matter what the formula says. And with more than 256 communities signing on to the federal Race to the Top application, we will continue to advocate for every available resource we can to ensure that Massachusetts children can continue to excel in the classroom. Now, a couple of other things I want to mention, and then I'll stop. House 2 will propose a couple of additional tools to balance your books and lay the groundwork for economic growth. Specifically, we will file a pension funding relief plan to help local pension systems address unprecedented asset losses in a fiscally responsible and manageable way. Our proposal allows local systems to extend their funding schedule as far out as 2040, where demonstrably prudent, and there will be some benchmarks and measures for that. This proposal, I believe, strikes the right balance. Our proposal also requires that future asset gains be used to shorten schedules, not just to reduce payments. This initiative will help cities and towns statewide save up to $200 million in the first year of the proposed new schedule. Next week, we will file the second phase of statewide pension reform. While our efforts last year were a significant step forward towards restoring the public's trust in their government, there is more that we can do. The second phase will build on the good work done by the Pension Commission last year to ensure that our system is fair, sustainable, and credible with the public. We also have some additional local relief proposals, including an optional limited early retirement incentive program for cities and towns. It's a fiscally responsible plan to ensure that those who benefit from the resulting savings incur a limited additional cost in the pension system. While this tool may not be appropriate for every one of your communities, it will give you some flexibility to make the decision that is best for you. I will also propose to freeze rates again on special education private placements next year, saving $3.2 million. And we will also again offer relief from library maintenance of effort requirements and decertification rules. One or two other small points. In addition to providing you with these budget balancing tools, our administration is moving forward on other fronts to help cities and towns make progress in areas like clean and renewable energy. Today, we are launching the Green Communities Program. It's a grant program, and by making approximately $7 million available for green communities over the next 6 months, designated communities can access state funds to support energy efficiency, renewable energy, and other innovative energy projects. Taken together, all of these new tools are designed to help you take the next step of recovery in your own cities and towns. They build on previous successes and existing tools. We worked together, all of us, to eliminate the telecom tax exemption on poles and wires, and if you want to go back at equipment, let's do that. We worked together to get on your community. We worked together to get your communities the option to levy a 1 or 2 cent tax on restaurant meals and hotel rooms. We worked together to expand access to the GIC, helping many of you save millions in health insurance costs, and we should talk about where you want to go next. And we proposed a series of initiatives to encourage and facilitate regionalization of municipal services and other reforms around procurement and contract advertising that, if approved by the legislature, would save you time and money without jeopardizing transparency or quality. We need you, to let your legislators know how important these tools are to you and to your communities. Now, I know there is still more you want. Like I said, I am familiar with many of your standard lists of non-negotiable demands. I know a lot of you feel very, very strongly about plan design. I've had those conversations with many folks. I said I know that. You don't have to know. I already know. We do want to make the GIC more accessible to communities, and we have proposed an incremental step that would lower the threshold to join the GIC. That is also before the legislature. But throughout, if we are to be successful, then we need to be committed to a process that is less cumbersome and more expedient, but that also respects the spirit of collective bargaining. And if I may, Mr. Mayor, I'm going to discern from what you said that same sentiment, which is to say that in order to deliver on education reform, it did require not just arraying all the folks who disagreed with the other side on one side of the table, but getting everybody who has stake in it at the table, and getting compromise, and getting ideas and different ways of thinking about how to solve this problem. That, I think, is the spirit that has to be brought to bear on this issue as well. You know, this conversion involves a lot more than those of us here in this room. We need to work with all the stakeholders to find real solutions. And when we do, that is when we can build off of a foundation of common ground and move forward. Now, I had a whole bunch more I wanted to say about the Recovery Act and other infrastructure investments in your communities, but I'm going to stop. There's a lot of it going on. There's a lot more I know you'd like to do, but I'm excited about it because it creates jobs today and economic value going forward. But the time is limited, and I know some of you have comments and questions, so why don't I stop? And thank you again very much for having me here today and for having me as your partner. Here, how much time is there? Just a couple weeks? No, 2 or 3 questions, yeah.
Governor Patrick, I'm Josh Ostroff, a member of the Navy Board of Selectmen and incoming Vice President of the MMA, and I want to thank you.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for the spirit of partnership and interest and activism that you've taken to this role. I and many other members know that 3 years ago, after your inauguration, you were committed to that, and you continue to be so. So, thank you very much.
Josh, thank you.
I have a couple of comments. One is the general.
You can stop there if you want.
I want to say 2 things. First, I think we're interested in knowing how you want to approach your negotiations with the legislature to help deliver on many of the commitments that you've made. And it's so great to hear your commitment to fund local aid at the existing levels. It's, as you said, less than we want, but more than we're prepared for. The other is whether consideration has been given to extending the pension funding, as you described. Would that be restricted, perhaps, to communities that join the Better Man State system or available to everybody? I know in my community that would be, I think, a good bargain.
You need to come into the state pension system as a...
Yes, as a prerequisite for being able to accept the funding.
Interesting question.
Something like that. But I think the more important thing is the approach to working with the legislature without being not able to deliver on our commitment.
Exactly. So let me take the first question, and then maybe Jay can help with the second, either in this form or offline. In terms of working with the legislature, you know how it works. This is a process, right? We make our budget proposal next week. The House works on that and then makes theirs in March, I think it is, late March, and then the Senate finishes theirs at the end of May, early June, and then we work through June, really come to compromise. You know, we will need help because making this choice to support local aid, even flat, and Chapter 70 in the ways that I described means some other very painful choices elsewhere in the